us a proposal of a 30 by 30 sign, and I have one for each of you, because I know this will be something you'll have to talk about. And it's $660 for a 10-year contract. And what the president said that they would do is, if y'all would go halves, we would go halves. And what I was thinking was 3 signs. One at the Walmart pointing down 412, one at 412 coming up from Zenith pointing to the north, the new building, and then one coming in that Rector Piggott at the parks. Either one? Okay, I'm not familiar with Arkansas much, sorry. And then pointing down that road there to the new building where it's gonna be. But that's all that I have on the paper, just for you all to take. If you have any questions. But it's a 30 by 30 sign. We talked about, y'all have a new sign maker. I don't know that you go that big, but we also want the logo to be the same on all of them. Do you have any questions on the sign? No. They're welcome. What do you get one? No show? We kick them out of college when they're no show. But everything's going, we're booming at the college, I guess y'all noticed from the parking.
You have a date when you need to know whether you need to do this or not?
If by next council meeting you all know, and there's no rush to it. So, he just asked us to present it to all of our councils, and that's what I did tonight. And I assume MoDOT would be the ones to put it up, because they know where the right-of-way should be, and, or, their right-of-way, so.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak to the council? Yes, sir.
I live back on the Farm Street,
Yes, sir.
and,
Well, will you please state your name and,
named Grover Deering. I live on the Farm Street, and I've been trying to get it paved. We voted the tax in, to help get paved, the roads paved, but I hadn't heard anybody say anything about paving the roads. I'd like to know where we're at on paving these, roads.
well, actually, we've been accumulating the tax. We started collecting in January 1. And, street committee, is, what they're gonna do is they're putting a substantial amount into the San Francis on the west side of the square. The part of the highway that looks pretty bad coming into town. They're gonna put in sidewalks, curbs, and gutters, is what the first major project they're looking at. Now, we're still dedicated to putting a portion into the gravel to pavement, like what you're talking about in maintenance.
Right.
But as far as the substantial amount will be going toward that project. That's gonna be the biggest impact. Visitors come to town, they're gonna see it, hopefully we'll promote some business on the west side of San Francisco.
Mr. Deering, where is McPartland Street?
It's on Double E Highway.
Right acre.
We got right acre. It's kind of, township and city mixed. But there's that little addition, they all come in on McFarland Street and travel on McFarland. And it's all just, one street gets all the traffic. Well, that's where I live, and I get all the dust and all everything else, and I'm on the outside all the time in the garden, and I'm breathing that dust all the time. I know it's not good for my lungs, but anyway, I just wondered where we was at. I know we, had to vote that tax in and try to get it paid.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I know, we try to get some of it paid, but that's why I wanna know where we was at.
Yes, sir. And Mr. Carter, he's got a list of streets. You'll be more welcome to contact Mr. Carter. He can give you a list of streets, right, that you've got prioritized.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't,
We haven't voted on anything.
no, we hadn't voted on anything, but we were looking at starting basically in the center of Kennett and trying to work our way out.
So we'll be the last one to get paid then, because I'm gonna walk all the way out to Double-E. That sounds like to me then.
Well, we're looking at a percentage of the money to go towards unpaved streets. So that will have a different, kind of be set up just a little bit different. So we may say 10% of that money goes towards paving streets. So they're gonna be really about 3 different ways we're gonna have it set up for new construction and repairs, and then also for paving streets that are not paved at this point. So it's kind of still all in the process of figuring out what kind of money we have and where we can spend it, when we can spend it. It's gonna be a big, long project, though, I can promise you that. It'll probably follow some of us to the grave.
Where would the township come in at? Would the township help the city? I mean, see, that addition is both.
I would
Township
love to, I
and
would love
city.
to, but it's,
This
But that's
is,
kind of a conflict that, I guess, or.
you know, they got their set of priorities and we've got ours and
Well,
it's,
see, it's going together, so
yes, sir.
it looks like we work together maybe or something,
hopefully that'll be the case, but we'll see.
you know,
Be trying.
what I'm saying. I'll be good try.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
But rest assured, we wanna get the gravel paid. I mean, we're a city, it's a pretty good sized city, it's kind of embarrassment to have that much gravel.
Yeah, because when I grew up out in the country, that road's paved.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna wrap it.
Yeah, gravel.
That's pretty good.
Go figure it.
Go figure, yeah. But thank
Appreciate
you.
you coming up tonight though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we'll move on in to department reports. Mr. Carter, would you go ahead and lead us? Looks like you got a bunch of show and tell for us.
Yes, sir, I'll get to that in just a second. First, I'd like to talk to you about Third Street. It's been closed for a while. Got some estimates, guesstimates on it, would be a better word, to rent a trench box and an excavator to come in and do the work right and safely. Figuring it'd be probably $2,700, $3,000 to fix that collapse over there. On that, that would include renting the trench boxes, renting an excavator, doing the repair to the pipe, doing the backfill, and the asphalt to go back on top of it. The problem is the street there, storm drain runs down the middle of the street. It's off the side of it, but the storm drain's 11 feet deep. And if we dig down there to it and tear it out safely, we're gonna go well past the edge of the streets and then past the right of way to the way it's supposed to be. So if we dig it straight down, we've gotta put the trench boxes in there. We've used City Like Gas and Water's boxes, they've got two, but they don't stack correctly. So when you have to stack them on top of each other, you're still not very safe. So, in order to rent these, you know, it costs several dollars to get them in here for a couple of days. Wanted to bring that up, see what everybody's feelings on that is. And on South Main and Leonard Younger, have no estimate. We don't know what the problem is. We don't know where the problem is. You know, if you want us to, we'll just have to dig into that, see what we can find and where it is, and, you know, stop and bring it back to you all, or go ahead, you know, so we just don't know what to do with that.
Did we budget anything for that Third Street? Was that already collapsed when we did budget? It was not.
How long has it been blocked now? How many weeks? 4 weeks. I think we need to go ahead and get started on it, try to figure out some way to, I mean, Second and Third Street's got to be a pretty used street now, and it's inconvenience even for me, being Third Street, because we use it a lot. So, I mean, we're just running on borrowed time now, and might as well, I say, go ahead and get started on it.
This one spot you're talking about, $3,000, is that just for the one location? Your major expenses, moving everything, the build-up costs? We'd be better off replacing that, looking at replacing that,
We're talking about $100,000 to replace that block.
but we're still having problems every time we turn around, we're having a new problem.
But the guesstimates on that from two different contractors was in the neighborhood of $100,000. What our hope is call two different contractors, and they haven't done any work in this immediate area. I've tried to get them to come down and look at lining that section of the pipe. We've got the camera now. I haven't had time to talk to them, you know, about possibly running the camera through there and sending them a videotape and see what they think it would be possible. There's a few places where the pipe's not smooth and level, where there's dips in it, you know, and that type of thing. So, you know, I just don't know, you know, from the short distance we ran, you know, with the camera. But, you know, I think that would be the best route to go, would be to, you know, possibly try to put a liner of some kind in there. There's 2 or 3 different, ways to go with that. But, there's no contractors in the immediate area, and so, I was trying to catch them coming through, going someplace, whether they were just going to a convention and stop by and look, or whether they were going to another job, or, whatever, to come through here to look and see. If they just come up and look at it, they're gonna bill us. They said if they were going by, they would, they would be happy to come in and look.
Your guesstimation, do you feel comfortable with that number? 3,000 or whatever you said,
Yes, sir.
whatever you said it was?
Well, with the option of spending 100,000 or 3,000, I guess we're on to get it fixed. It's gotta be fixed.
I move we go with the project.
Second.
Motion and second, discussion, any more? All in favor say aye. All opposed?
I'm sorry, Mr. Bell, start that one.
We'll go with the project of $3,000.
Yes. Okay.
Any thoughts on Main Street?
You mean that hole that you're talking about unknown? My say would be finish up the first project and move into the second project. But, whatever everybody else thinks, I don't know.
How long are we talking about? I don't know what they're.
3 days notice, so to speak, on getting the trench boxes here, and hopefully the excavator will be ready, about the same time. Probably 2 days work. And then we'd probably leave the gravel, Chad in there for a week or so before we put the asphalt in to help pack it some more.
A couple of weeks, man.
And the excavator, we use the excavator to do the packing, where we haven't done a good job of that before. We've dangled a jumping jack compactor off the end of a backhoe, with nobody holding it, trying to compact it, and that type of stuff. So we left the streets open long. Hopefully with the excavator, we could do a better job of compacting it and not have to leave it open as well.
So can you complete this by the next meeting?
Depending on the trench box and the excavator, is available. Yes, sir.
So let's revisit the next problem in the next meeting.
As we did in the last council meeting, we approved the acceptance of the intersection work at Washington and Wiggs at the last one. Request that you approve the work on Kennett Street and Cheryl Grove in Second, and also Anthony and 4th Street, so we can pay the contractor on it.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second? Discussion?
Your specifications, everything's good.
Pleased with the work.
Any more discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
Real quickly, on the street signs, I know some of you are wanting them done quickly. This is the way the sign blanks come in. We ordered them with this reflective on them. Here is, can't even read it, too much light in here. Here's a street. That's a sign ready to go. Mr. Weatherwax volunteered with his nimble fingers to peel some of these letters off.
This is Main Street.
Main Street, okay.
I can turn it around.
When you get done, it's gonna look like this, with the border pulled off of it.
Want me to peel them off?
Sure. No. Each individual letter here has to be pulled out. Okay? Come up here in a minute. Come up here in a minute. We'll just pull the letters off. But it'll come out like this. Then we put it on. It's called transfer tape. And this is opaque tape, and this is clear tape. Then it's attached to the sign. This clear tape is peeled back halfway, and then this is sealed back down. And you get a sign like this. But it takes quite a while for one person working 29 hours a week. You have to learn the software to do the printing and the cutting out of these. and then sit and peel each one of these letters off on both sides of the sign, put the tape on and put them both on and so on and so forth. We've got now 106 of these signs, plates done. So we are making progress. But I think you'll see just in a couple of minutes that it takes a few minutes to make each one of these signs. It's not just a matter of snapping them out, okay? This is the longest plate we'll have. And we went ahead and made one, but you'll be able to see it's fairly flimsy. And even when it's held in the middle, it can move around. The city of Cape is now going to putting Dixie on one side, and over here they're putting a separate plate, and they're bolting them together so the wind doesn't tear them up as much. So I think after trying it, we're going to probably try to do that. There won't be that many of these, but Independence, Dixie Roadway, probably Van de Venter, and a few others will be double plated so they won't tear up quite as much. But here's probably the biggest sign, and then here's the ones that'll go in the residential area, the size that'll go in there. So you can see there's quite a bit of difference. But these are designed for traffic that's moving 25 miles an hour and faster, and these are 25 miles an hour and under. Purpose that.
They look real good.
But we are making progress, but like I said, there's 182 of these on First Street, Independence, St. Francis, and the bypasses. So we've got we got, I think, 98 of those made for the big ones.
Go by the fire station down the hill and watch them work. It's pretty interesting. Pretty neat operation.
There you go.
Put them back where they go.
But, you know, it does take a couple of minutes to do all of that.
That's one of your side tables. That's one of your side tables.
Next question on the signs. Mr. McMay may answer this, or the council may, I don't know. Do we go with the name that are on the plat, or we go by the common names? Okay, an example. William Street is the way it's known, not Williams, but William Street is the proper name. That's what everybody is out there, but on the plat, it's William Avenue. So I would imagine most everybody's address is street. I don't know if it'll make a difference on driver's license, post office, and so on and so forth. Another example would be White Oak Place, or White Oaks Place is what's on the plat. So,
What's GPS show? You know?
What's 911 phone? I think that'd be what you
you go with, okay.
I think that's what you go with.
This is just some things we've run into, so before we got too much farther into it, you know, I wanted to do some checking.
I'd be more concerned with an out-of-town emergency, like medical one, for instance, GPS.
We're taking the sticky stuff, thank you. You can keep the letter. That's all for now.
Randy, what's wrong with Barney?
Big rotor pump, big main water pump, we'll come up with that later on the agenda. Get it fixed. No, that's fine. We'll get your approval for that, hopefully.
All right, anybody else got anything?
I just sent my report to you, hope y'all got those emails for the last couple of months, you'll get the,
Yes.
August report come up for next week.
Okay.
Well, then we got, we had 5 of the last promotion, the supervisors, they went to supervisor school last week. Everybody did a great job. Also, we had Make the Police Saturday. It turned out real good. Had several hundred people show up, a lot of people. Done a lot of good work. Lieutenant Trowbridge, he really did an outstanding job getting all this together with some of the community leaders. And that all worked out real good. That's based all I got. I think Council Chairman McDowell's got a few things here later. We just want to thank the police department, thank the mayor and the council for all you've done here lately. I know it's been a rough 3 or 4 months, building wise and all that. Everybody's put a lot of time and effort into this. A lot of hard decisions and a lot of temperaments, I guess. But anyway, just for the police department, we want to thank you all for everything you do. We'll get it worked out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Our report is finished. Move on into old business. ethics ordinance, annual event.
As I explained last time, this is something we're required to do every other year. We do it every year. We don't want to miss out. First reading is an ordinance of the city of Kennett, Missouri, to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials.
Motion,
Motion.
second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Second reading, an ordinance of the city of Kennett, Missouri, to establish a procedure to disclose potential conflicts of interest and substantial interest for certain officials. Motion.
Motion, all in favor say aye.
No.
Ordinance, okay.
Suffolk,
Yes.
Hancock,
Yes.
McDowell,
Yes.
Witherway,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Gore,
Yes.
Weaver,
Yes.
Palmer,
Yes.
and McMahon.
Yes.
Okay. B, the old business letter of intent for the Kennett Nutritional Center.
As I sent to y'all, it's in your packet, what I did was a resolution of the city council. I think this carries a little bit more weight than just the letter, and basically what the resolution says, and I'll just read what's resolved, is the city of Kennett agrees to convey the building and lot owned by the city located at 202nd Street in the city of Kennett to the Kennett Nutrition Center, provided that the Kennett Nutrition Center obtain full and adequate funding to renovate said building to a fully functional nutrition center as approved by the Southeast Missouri Area Agency on Aging within 2 years of the date of this resolution.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
So we're paying the insurance on this building, does anybody know how much the insurance is monthly? Because we're gonna be paying it for the next 2 years, right? Or until, I mean, what kind of cost is that?
From my understanding with the, with discussions with the former clerk, the insurance was all tied in with the city through Myrma. And it's based on payroll. Now, I may be off on that, but I think that's what she's told me in the past.
So an empty building just sitting there is.
I was told as many buildings you got, it doesn't seems kind of strange to me, but no matter how many buildings you got, it's under one coverage. Like vehicles.
You're the same way with vehicles,
So it's kind of odd, but that's what I was told.
One thing, Chief Payne and I had talked, I think I said this to the mayor the other day. We might all have something there that excludes the generators, emergency standby generator and transfer. When we build out a new dispatch in the future, we're gonna need that generator to be supportive of that dispatch center. And you're talking,
Well, we're just talking about the
Yeah.
building.
Okay.
Where it's at.
just wanna make sure they don't realize that the generator, some point in time, will probably have it disconnected from the building and take it out and put it in storage or whatever, because you're talking about a $60,000.
Yeah, and it's like the tower. The tower's gotta stay there also.
Well, yeah, none of the fixtures or anything else would be included, because for them to make it a nutrition center, they're gonna have to pretty well gut it. So, generator wouldn't be part of it.
Because while ACS has a generator, that, from what I learned the other day, pretty well services what's there. It's 480 and this is a 208, and so there's a difference there. So.
Any other questions?
Would there be anything, like, to say if they change their mind, I mean, could we have some kind of memo of understanding with them if they change their mind, that they'll let us know, so we're not just sitting here?
Well, we'd ask, I think, we'll revert back to it, maybe.
Well, if it's not there.
Well, it's not,
yet,
there's nothing to revert back, because unless they come up with with funding, it's, within 2 years, it still belongs to us.
But I'm saying if after a year they, you know, that you all, they know they're not gonna want it, I mean, I'm saying something that we.
I would think it would be a courtesy on their part. I would think they would certainly do that.
Any other questions? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, move on to authorize for mayor to sign contract with AHM and Associates.
I believe this is for fire station number 2 or 1? Number 2. I've reviewed the documents. This is typical AIA standard form agreement between the owners and the architect. And see, no reason not to sign it.
Motion? Second? Discussion?
What is the cost of that, the percentage of the estimated value?
What, 8% of the first 500,000?
I think it's percentage.
It's a percentage, I'll give it to you. Yeah. Yeah, 8% of the first 200,000, 7% of the next 300,000, anything over 500,000 is 6%.
Okay, so we could be talking, what, 40,000 possible?
Any other questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, new business. Item A, approval to purchase computers and software for city clerk's office. In your packet and in the email, there's a quote. We'll start with the software. Okay, it's in the same stapled area, the hardware and the software. The software is CSA, Software Solutions. Krista, would you care to discuss with the council or
This software is made particularly for municipal government. When we were allowed to use the QuickBooks is set up per company. So in order for it to be set up correctly, each department would be a company. The way that the state auditors need us to do our type of accounting work, we need to show each fund, like our park and pool fund, our city revenue, that's where our fire department, the street department, police department, general department, those all are within that funding, I'm sorry. The way the software is set up, the accounting part of it is most excellent. Instead of us now having to have all these different funds and stuff, it's all set up within the computer. When we receive an invoice, well, first of all, the department heads will be typing the purchase order in the computer. No more paperwork with purchase orders. Once we receive our invoice, we'll electronically pull the purchase order over and attach it with the invoice, print it off, and it will show that their purchase order has been closed out. The state auditors, one of their big concerns is having a purchase order for any invoice that goes through the clerk's office. It all ties within each other. As soon as we print an accounts payable check or payroll check, it automatically disperses it to your general ledger. It would take a lot of handwork out. Right now, we're doing everything by hand. Payroll, we're doing payroll in 4 different places just to run payroll checks. If we were able to use this software, it would make our office run a whole lot more efficiently. As soon as an invoice is paid, it would show up on a department head's budget. They can pull up that budget and see exactly how much they have left in the supplies expense account or a building maintenance account. If an invoice has not been paid,